They say a series doesn't start until the road team wins, but that doesn't mean I'm not pissed about this Game 2 loss. 22-point lead, and you blow it. Not good, no bueno. Kyle Gaffner is here. I am Adrian Fedke. We're here to discuss this one. Oh, boy. Yeah, this one tonight.
Wow. 22-point lead on the road. You're completely owning them in their own building, and 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and it evaporates like that. They go up 5 points going into the second half. I mean, that lead just evaporated so quick. It's like all that hard work we did in the first quarter and a half just poof, gone in a matter of seconds. Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, so here's what happened with that. Everybody is complaining about the TJ McConnell thing, not leaving him in the game, but I'm blaming it on Brett Brown for another reason. Because in that second quarter, you said it. You got 5 minutes to go in the half. You're up by 22 points, and that lead is just evaporating. The Sixers are shell-shocked, and there's no timeout being called. They keep jacking up threes. Joel Embiid isn't getting the ball on the block because when Boston's making their comeback, settle down. Give the ball to Joel on the block. Play a little bit more half court, because what happened here was the Sixers did a tremendous job coming out of this one. Half court defense was tremendous. They were closing out on the shooters. And then you know what happened? Brad Stevens pushed the tempo. And once Brad Stevens pushed the tempo, it just like caught the Sixers off guard. And then all of a sudden you're still jacking up these threes, because what happened was you started 7 of 10 from 3. And that 7 of 10 starts like turned out to be a hindrance because they just kept jacking up threes instead of just feeding the ball to Embiid. I would have kept feeding Embiid in this game. And they finally started to do it in like the third quarter, the end of the third quarter. And by that time, I mean, it was almost too little too late.
Way too little too late. And you know what also hurt us? Only going to the line 14 times. You got to get to the line, especially if your shots are not being knocked down. Like, we just consistently went in there and just started shooting threes. There was no ball moving. You know what makes Boston so great when they're hitting their threes is because it's moving all the way around. They're going inside out. Like, that's what we should have been doing, and we completely went away from that. That 5 minutes, they should have called a timeout. They should have slowed everything down, eased everything, wasted some of the clock, but they didn't, and they just didn't know what to do. And I think you're right, because they were hitting all these shots. They figured they were just going to keep going down. Well, it didn't happen that way. It led to a lot of transition for Boston and got them right back in this game and fueled them to this victory.
And okay, all right, so here's the deal with Brett Brown. Usually he lets the Sixers kind of play through things. He kind of has that Phil Jackson logic of, all right, the other team is making a run. Let's play through it. Let's learn from it. But this is a playoff game, and the Sixers are young. They got shell-shocked by this run. And there's Boston continually pushing the ball up the floor. Sixers keep jacking up shots, and no timeouts are being called whatsoever. That's what lost this game. It was the second quarter when Boston made its run. That's why they lost this game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was the turning point in the game where we lost it, and we could never get that momentum back. J.J. Redick was hot all game. He got off to a fantastic start. He was good all game. Robert Covington, I thought, made up for his game one. I thought he had a really good game too. It just wasn't enough. And Ben Simmons being a ghost, man, completely killed us. Like, only taking 4 shot attempts and having 1 point. It's just not going to get it done. And, like, where's the aggression from them? Like, okay, they're gonna give you all that space. Take it to the hole, man. Just take it to the rim. Try to get to the line. I don't care if you're not a good free throw shooter. Just try to get something. Be a man. Just go up there and dunk the ball. Something. But for you to be non-existent in this offense, we're not going to succeed or advance without Ben Simmons. It's just not going to happen. Now, we got a great spark from TJ. That was great, but you had to have Ben Simmons in there with the 4 minutes left. He's got to get some playoff experience like this in crunch time.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question. I tweeted out at halftime. I'm like, at some point, Ben Simmons needs to step up in the series. And, you know, I thought he really turned the corner in the Miami series, especially that game 4. We had 15 to 17 points in the second half, completely took over that game. but he's played scared these first 2 games in Boston. And my question for you is this, all right, because Twitter is giving Brett Brown a lot of heat right now for not keeping T.J. McConnell in the game, taking him out in favor of Ben Simmons. Do you agree with what Brett Brown did?
Yeah, I completely agree with putting Ben Simmons back in that game. Yeah, TJ gave you that spark to get you back in this game, but in order for the Sixers to move forward, Ben Simmons is the future. He needs to be in these game time situations. So get him in there, even though he's not playing well. It gives him some learning experience, something to build off of. And we don't know if TJ was running on some fumes. He doesn't play a lot of minutes, so we don't know if that play would have been keeping up. So you got to get Ben Simmons in there. He's the star of this franchise, along with Joel Embiid, but you need to get him in those game situations for sure.
Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm with you. Right now, nobody's going to agree, and that's fine. That's okay. TJ, he did what he needed to do. He came in the fourth quarter. He started the fourth quarter. He provided a huge spark off the bench. Got those first 2 buckets of the fourth. Then he had the rebound, the kick out to Robert Covington. That was awesome. He played tremendous. And I can somewhat understand why people wanted T.J. McConnell to stay in the game. I can somewhat understand that. But have a little foresight here and think about it from a mental perspective. So if you're Brett Brown and you're not playing Ben Simmons in the last 5 minutes of a game, this carries over for the rest of the series. You got to have it show faith and confidence. If you're already taking him out in game 2 and not playing him for the rest of the game, what does that say? Seriously, that fucks up your mental game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Especially for a player that's been struggling, Ben.
Yeah, he's struggling, and at some points he does kind of have that mental. He has that mental thing with him. Not Nelson Aguilar or anything, but he's got a little bit of that in him. And there's been times where a lot of people have questioned, whether or not he can take over a game, and we're seeing that bad part of him these first 2 games of the series. He had 1 point tonight. 1 point. He had 4 turnovers. He might have had more than that. I thought near the end of the game he did a better job finding his teammates, because for a while he was doing absolutely nothing. So at least in that standpoint, but man, he's missing these bunnies and he's missing these putbacks, point blank range. He's playing scared out there. But if you take him out the last 5 minutes of this game, you know what happens? This series is over, because if you're taking Ben Simmons' head out of the game, he's not going to show up in Philadelphia.
No, he's not. And if you have no faith, he's going to figure you have no faith in me, and it's only just going to continue to weigh on his mind and make maybe that bad play carry over to the next 2 home games, which we got to solidify and win. And that brings me to a point to where, yeah, we're down 2-0, and they showed those stupid numbers where Boston's 36-0 and up, 2-0. I don't care. That doesn't matter. Records are out there to be broken. Boston didn't win on the road in their series with Milwaukee, and they barely got past Milwaukee, and we're light years ahead of Milwaukee. So for everybody that's worried, you just got to stay tight. We are fine. We are able to win on the road. Look what we did during the season. Look what we did in the Miami series. I mean, I don't think Boston's, they're banged up. They're not that good. Brad Stevens is overshadowing a lot of these inefficiencies. Marcus Smart is not going to knock down 5 threes again. It's just not going to happen. He's a great defender. He's not a great scorer. Jason Tatum's going to get his. I mean, he's going to be a fantastic player. It is what it is. Terry Rozier had a decent game, but he didn't blow up like I didn't expect him to in game 1. And then Al Horford's whatever. That was just unfortunate with that closeout with Embiid. He just was able to beat him off the ball. Great veteran play by Al Horford to be able to get that bucket at the end of the game. But Embiid was spent at that point. Plus, he had a bad angle. And it sealed the deal for them. But we got our shots back. So you got to look at the positives in this game. We shot a lot better from 3-point land. The defense was a lot more tenacious. We were real sticky. We were playing like Boston in the first half, more or less. If you look at their shooting percentage, it was like 32%. And then they went on that run and gave them all that momentum. Well, guess what? Boston can't win on the road. So we're going to take these next 2 in Philly. Don't be worried, guys. We're good.
All you got to do is win 1 in Boston. You win the series. That's what it's going to come down to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll get into, comments later, because I'm curious to see what the people have to say. I hope that they don't think the series is over, but it wouldn't surprise me knowing Philadelphia. So the other thing I want to get into, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to get more into this. They started 7 of 10 from 3, and because of that start, it seemed like they just kept jacking up threes. And the 7-10 start, it wasn't a coincidence because they had good ball movement in the beginning. J.J. Redick was hot. Robert Covington was hot. Sarge was hitting a couple threes. And then all of a sudden, they're taking more and more of these threes, and they become more and more contested. And because they kept jacking up these threes, they got away from Joel Embiid. Because even Joel Embiid got in on the fun. Even Joel Embiid was taking these threes. Instead of feeding him on the block, they derived from it. And again, they didn't start doing it until like late in the third quarter. So that's something that I want to see in this series once it comes back to Philadelphia, when they go back to Boston. When they play that half-court style, you better feed Embiid consistently, because I'm sick of this shit.
I hate it, dude. It drives me insane when we have such great ball movement going and we're getting open looks. Like, I don't mind the threes as much when we have ball movement, but if we're just going down there and jacking up threes for absolutely no reason, there's no need for that. Cut to the basket. Like, I like that Sarge was actually going down on the block. Like, he should have continued to do that when he wasn't hitting his threes, because he just looked flat. His jump shot looked completely flat like today. It was bad. But I liked him going down on the block. But like in the first 2 quarters, we were swinging, we were moving off screens, and we were feeding Embiid. That's what you got to do. Work inside out. Give it to him, double team, kick it out. You'll have the open shots. But I think they just got so worried that that lead was evaporating that the quickest way to knock these guys down is just continually hit threes. Well, there's that other thing where if you don't hit them, you're going to lead the transition threes and build on their momentum and give them better shots and build their lead to cut into our lead, dude. It was just so frustrating, especially when you have that 22-point lead. Why are you going to continue to shoot threes? Go to just get the 2 points. What's wrong with the 2-pointers? I don't get it.
That's Brad Stevens again, dude. Like, that he just knows how to push the right buttons. He saw how ferocious the defense was early on from the Sixers, and how they were, because they were closing out on the threes. They weren't closing out in game 1. Well, and so they were playing this tough, stingy defense, closing out on the threes. And then all of a sudden, it's all right, let's push this a little bit. Let's run the ball down their throats. Let's run the ball up the floor. Let's take some threes in transition. And that's how they started coming back. And again, like, Philly got caught so off guard by that, and they got shell-shocked. That's what happened. They got shell-shocked, and Brett Brown never called the timeout. That's the thing that I got really, really pissed about. That's why the Sixers lost this game. It wasn't Ben Simmons. It wasn't TJ McConnell not playing instead of Ben Simmons. It was what Brett Brown did in the second quarter, and just letting that onslaught continue. There was no reason why Boston should have been down by 5 at halftime. That's a joke. You're up by 22 points in the second quarter, and you give it all away. Ridiculous.
And that's why we saw so many big leads during the regular season evaporate so quick. It was like watching a movie again, dude. Like when we had, if you remember that game when we played Milwaukee in March, and we went up twice by 20, and we lost both and ended up losing that game. It's just like, you got to be able to learn from your mistakes. Okay, after they scored maybe 6 points, you call a timeout. You don't continue to let that keep going and going and going and cut into your lead. And what's crazy is it wasn't like it was early in the second quarter. We had 5 minutes left until halftime. We could have went in there with maybe a 19-point lead, had a nice cushion, and built off of that. Instead, we gave all the momentum to Boston, and that's what willed these Cats to victory. It's always that one pivotal moment in sports, Adrian, that can turn the tide of a game, and that was it.
Yep. All right, so what do you think they need to do moving forward in this series? What kind of tactical things that you want to see changed?
I would like us to, and I know you're not going to be able to keep up that energy because you'll be spent if you play all 4 quarters like we did in the first quarter and even in the second. So I would just like us to continue to stick to one game plan and just attack it. And if our shots aren't going down, please just go to the line, attack the rim. Just get your points somehow from the free throw line. When we were going on this long stretch on the winning streak, Adrian, we were going to the line at least 25 to 30 times. And your shots aren't knocking down, you can get it there. And you get the team in foul trouble then. And it puts everybody in worry mode. Now, if you look when Embiid got that 5th foul with Al Horford stumbling down, they were able to attack. They attack the rim. That's smart because they know Embiid's not going to be playing as much aggressive defense. So I would like for us to pinpoint one of their best players. Like, I think we did a good job on Tatum tonight, even though he got his 20. I thought we did a really, really good job. But the perimeter defense has to be addressed. It has to be.
If you remember in game one, obviously, like the thing that Brad Stevens took advantage of was the switching defense of Philadelphia. And I feel like this is still not being stopped because Boston goes to that screen early on the possession. They get the switch that they want, and they just take advantage of it every single time. So I don't know if Justin Anderson might be, somebody that they can kind of put in there for a little bit to basically kind of get better on that defensive end. But that's something I'm looking at. You got to switch up this switching defense. I think that's something moving forward.
Get some fresh blood in there. We've seen this rotation of the same, 8, 9 guys. Let's get some fresh bodies in there. Let's get some Justin Anderson. Now, when they were down, I don't know if you noticed that Greg Monroe made an appearance, and that was some nice energy off the bench. Maybe Brett Brown should counter and put, Justin Anderson in there, or maybe a Markelle Fultz if that's so crazy to think. Maybe get him some minutes. Maybe he could spark something. You don't know until you try it. It might turn the tide. But with Horford being able to lead that attack, because you know what they're going to do. You know Horford's going to look to swing it right away. He's not going to take it to the bucket. He's looking to penetrate, to draw Embiid out so they can kick it out and have all those wide open looks behind the arc like they did tonight. I mean, what they hit, 15 threes again tonight? It's ridiculous. And they're shooting lights out.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up right now. I'm going to see what the final stats were. I got a question for you because I'm curious. Do you think the mask is bothering Embiid defensively? And the reason why I asked this is this. You had 2 instances tonight. Obviously, we know about the Horford drive, but there was also an occasion where Terry Rozier drove from the top of the key all the way to the basket. There are so many times where you see Embiid use his length to catch up and block the shot from behind. And I've seen this in the playoffs, too, on other occasions. Is that mask bothering him in that sense, or am I just kind of looking into this too much?
No, I think it is because when he shoots his free throws, he takes it off. Now, if it wasn't bothering him, he would leave it on because it's affecting his vision. I think he even mentioned that before because in game 1, it looked like maybe it got in his peripheral vision or something to where he was going for a block and he completely missed it. So maybe it's having a little bit of an effect. I don't know if it's major, but it's definitely something. Imagine trying to play with something corralled over your face with sweat and steam. I mean, that's definitely going to have an effect on your game. You're not used to having something stuck on your face 24/7.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm glad you kind of agree there because that's something I've kind of noticed. Like I noticed it in the Miami series, but it was very noticeable tonight. Those 2 drives late in the game. All right, so I got the stats up. The Sixers finished 13 of 33 from 3. And that was after starting 7 of 10. So 6 of 23 to end 6 of 23 to end the game. There were 5 of 26 in game 1. They took 33 threes, which, whatever. But, God, it's just like how many of those were just ill-advised threes? They take a lot of threes. I get that. But when they're ill-advised, the way that they were taking them tonight, that's when you start pissing me off. So
when there's no need for it, when one-and-done shot, you go up there, you don't draw up a play, you just run up, jam up a 3. For why? There's nobody under the basket. You can't get an offensive rebound. And if you look statistically, we pretty much owned Boston in almost every category. We had them on rebounds. We had them on assists. We had them on steals, I believe. They beat us in 3-point percentage. What they shoot 41%. I think they hit 15 threes, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just like with looking at the stat line, we should have beat this team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that one pivotal moment, Adrian, in the second quarter with Brett Brown. Yes, this is his first playoff series, so he's still kind of learning. But he's been here before as an assistant, so you figure he'd pick something up from Popovich. Something. That's huge.
All right, let me run down the stats. I guess we'll start with Simmons so we can get the bad out of the way first. 1 point, 0 4 from the field, had 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but those 5 turnovers and 0 4 from the field, not good at all. Just, yeah, there you go. All right, so moving on. 23 points for J.J. Redick, had 13 in the first quarter, 5 of 9 from three-point range. He provided the spark in the first quarter because, you know, it's funny because they were up 9 after the first, and I didn't think they played well. But J.J. Redick was the reason why they were ahead. Mm-hmm. So you had that. 20 and 14 for Joel Embiid, 8 of 22 from the field. 22 points and 9 rebounds for Robert Covington, 4 of 7 from 3. So the Jekyll and Hyde of Rocco continues. 0 of 6 in game 1, 8 of 15 in this game. And then you look at the Boston side, still can't do anything to stop Terry Rozier. 20 points. I mean, 6 of 15 from the field. Obviously not the efficiency he had in game 1. 4 of 9 from 3, so got to stop that a little bit more consistently. 9 assists, 7 rebounds. I mean, Terry Rozier is playing outstanding basketball in the postseason. Jason Tatum, 21 points, 7 of 14 from the field. Horford contained a little bit better, but he only took 9 shots, 13 points, and then 12 rebounds. And there's Marcus Smart, you know, big addition to get him back for Boston late in that Milwaukee series. 19 points for him, 6 of 13, 4 of 10 from 3. So they shoot over 40% from 3 again. And that was after a pretty poor start. So, again, it's like the Sixers did a great job in, like, the first quarter and a half. And then they pushed that pace. And then, like, once they got back in that half-court setting, they were able to you know, move that ball and, you know, beat us at beyond their arc. So, once again, they shoot the ball really well.
And they had 6 guys in double figures. They got Jaylen Brown back, who you know, provided some solid defense and energy off the bench. And the tale for us, Adrian, is what got us there too is Ilyasova and Bellinelli. They are nowhere to be found either. They are not producing like they once had been in the Miami series or even on that huge winning streak that we had. We got to get these guys going. Bellinelli, what did he have? 10 points tonight. I don't think he did anything too special. And Ilyasova hasn't really done anything either. It's just been the tale of 2 teams. It just looks like complete. And I knew we were going to cool off at some point, but we are ice cold, man. We are like Arctic right now. We went from un fuego to like ice cold. There's no middle ground, bro.
Nope, not at all. All right, it's time to look at the comments. I'm curious to see. Jason Tatum deserves Rookie of the Year. I mean, no, he doesn't.
Nah.
Yeah, see, we do have a couple people. Ben Simmons had 1 stinking point. DJ should have stayed in the game. He had a bunch of energy. I mean, yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, I agree. He had a bunch of energy. And, you know, he gave us what we wanted to start the fourth quarter. See, I'll say this about Brett Brown, all right? Because if people are going to hate that they didn't keep TJ McConnell in the game, then they should actually still give Brett Brown some credit for having the balls
to put him in,
start him in the fourth quarter, because Simmons didn't get taken out until like midway through the third. So you had 6 minutes worth of rest that you could have started him in the fourth quarter, and he didn't do that. He put TJ McConnell in the game. So if you're going to hate Brett Brown for not keeping him in, then you should give him credit for taking Ben out and putting TJ McConnell in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That takes a lot of guts to put a guy like that in. You're taking one of your best players and sitting him even though he's having a poor game, and to be able to put an energy guy like in TJ. And I thought he did a fantastic job, and he earned his minutes tonight. No doubt.
My man Ari Tebkin from Phantom checks in. Long series, it will change when it gets back to Philly. And then he also has something else. These are the growing pains young players have to go through in the playoffs. Completely agree.
Yep, 100%. 100%. We got to build off this. We just have to use this, bottle it all up, and geared towards looking towards Philly on Saturday. Use all this pent-up aggression and just unleash it, because we're going to be bringing it Saturday night. You can believe that.
Play that. What are you, Roman Reigns?
Who? Does he say who's this?
Oh, you don't watch wrestling. That's right. Believe that. It's something that Roman Reigns always says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. We got Juan Bonds checking in. Says not going under those screens frustrated me. He was part of the reason the defense broke down on Terry Rozier. I guess that's what he's saying. I'm not really sure.
About Simmons?
I'm not really 100% sure. We'll just move on. All TTP Ballin says all Boston does is confuse the defense with a screen earlier in the possession and then swing the ball to force tough closeouts. That's it. Well, they're screening the defense so they can get the switch and the mismatch that they want. That's what that's all about.
And we're playing right into their hand. I wish we would try to do that, you know, but we don't.
Yep. Hedge hard, help on the block to prevent deep penetration, and never switch. I don't think they should switch either, but that's what they do.
Stick to your man.
Yeah.
That's what I think Boston's really effective at. If you look at all their guys, they're all really solid defenders. They can all man up. They don't need to switch or use a lot of zone. They just man on man. They can do a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that point, though. I like that point from TTP Ballin. There you go. Logical Thoughts thinks that games are scripted. They are not scripted there, pal. Sorry. At the end of the day, they're taking advantage of our athleticism or lack thereof at certain positions. Yeah, that goes back to the whole, switching thing. They're getting the switches so they could take advantage of Marco Bellinelli and JJ Redick defense. So that's what that's all about. See what else we got. Logical Thoughts still thinks it's scripted.
Really?
I mean, I know professional players, and I can tell you that it's not scripted. So you can say whatever the fuck you want.
I don't think it's scripted. So what does he think? Boston's gonna go all the way? The NBA is trying to take Boston all the way or something?
I don't know. I don't know. If sports was scripted, then every game would be a 1-point game. Like, come on, dude.
Nobody would watch. It wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah. Sean Fitzpatrick, our man, Brett Brown sucked Bison balls tonight. He did.
Yeah, he had a bad game. He got outcoached again, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Because he can't shoot, teams ain't going to just let him get to the rim 20 times. Would you like to? I guess he's talking about Ben Simmons there.
I would love for him to take it to the rack, get to the free throw line, something, go up strong, because it makes it seem like he's soft, Like even the first possession he was under there, he should just went up and dunked it, and he didn't. He took it up and he kind of flailed it over, and it was a bad miss. Just take it up strong.
He definitely doesn't have confidence in that mid-range jumper, though. Like I think we can both agree there. I think at some point in his career he's going to get it, but right now, it is what it is. See, there's like two ways you can look at it. It's like they're playing off of him because he can't shoot, but if you play off of him, that allows him to get that head of steam moving forward that he wants anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's like two ways you can look at it.
And he tried, and I feel like after when he did try to put his head down and he got that charge against him, it takes that away. Like he loses confidence to even really drive to the basket, because right after that call, I don't really remember him trying to attempt to go to the rim at all. Do you remember that when he got that charge call when he was going up against it? It seems like after he doesn't get the call, it's like that's it for him. He's just looking strictly to pass.
Yeah. Rod Jude checks in. Good video, lads, as usual, my man. Thanks a lot. Yes, Simmons is the future, and it's about learning. We can't place too much pressure on our young guys. We're overkilling the threes. Ben will be back in Philly. No stressing. I couldn't have said it better myself.
You got to do. No stress. It don't matter if we're down 2-0. Teams that come back down from 3-0, 3-1, we're fine, man. I'm not worried. Boston can't win on the road.
Yeah. Can't win on the road. Just win game 5 or game 7. That's what it's going to come down to.
We can do it.
Yep. Sean comes in. Can we send out a search party to locate Ilyasova Bellinelli?
We need to. These two guys have been vacant. I don't know if they went back to their respective countries or they're out partying with Dario with his beer and orange juice. But these guys need to step up because they're a huge part of our bench.
Bruce Ferraro says we need Kawhi Leonard.
That'd be awesome if we could get him.
We could use him for this series. I'll tell you that. That wing defender,
solid.
Oh yeah. And Philly 500, my man. Hey yo, everybody, how you doing? Bitterbirds, we will be okay. Only 0-2. I love the spirit, baby, and I agree. I
love it. Love it. We're not becoming Negadelphia. I hate when that crap happens. I hate it.
We are learning. We will come back. He says.
Right. That's right. Gotta have faith in the young fellows, dude. That energy that was brought in Boston is going to be brought in Philly, and it's just going to fuel all our guys to play lights out. I'm not worried at all. The Fargo Center is going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking on Saturday.
Yeah. I just hope that Brett Brown kind of gets a little better.
Yeah, that's true. He does play. He does coach better at home. He definitely does.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, man. Like Ilyasova and Bellinelli, that's like the kind of like the thing that they say about the playoffs is guys like that, the role players, they always play better at home than they do on the road. They kind of disappear on the road, and we're seeing that right now.
It's tough to win on the road. It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
The greats do it, That's why the great teams can do it. It's tough to win on the road.
You know what it is, man? The Sixers won 20 or 21 games. They won the Miami series in 5. We've been spoiled.
Very spoiled.
Yeah.
All this winning. All because the Eagles Super Bowl, man. It's just been the spoils of war. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to have.
Yep. All right, Philly 500 checks in again. He says, don't you guys think we need to feed Embiid more? We kind of talked about it earlier, but since Philly 500 is just checking in, I'll say this. Yes, they do. They do. Like every possession, give them the goddamn ball.
Give him the rock. Nobody on that team can stop him. Horford's too small, and Aaron Baines is too slow. How about that Euro step he put on Jaylen Brown?
Oh, my God.
Cream in the pants, man.
Orgasmic.
All over the place. He was ready for the big boy to come in. He's like, 260 pounds, you're beat, and dunked it. Embiid's the only one that goes up and takes it strong. I love when he fucking throws down an emphatic dunk. And the rest of them, like Ilyasova needs to start dunking, man. When he's under the basket, he's like bobbling. I'm just like, come on, dude. Throw it down. You're 6'10". Just dunk. Please.
For real. I like this comment from Sean. He says, Brett Brown is reminding me of Andy Reid more and more. Reid was pass happy. Brown is 3-point happy. That's so true.
It is.
It's a good point.
Would you look at it that way? Like the NBA, like the NFL has turned pass happy, and like with the West Coast offense and with the success that the Warriors had, it seems like everybody's just fell in love with taking jumpers as opposed to getting back to the old school way, going down on the block, getting to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's like spot on right there. And you look at a team like the Rockets, they try to take 43s a game.
Oh yeah, dude, they're the worst ones out of all. With Mike D'Antoni, holy crap!
Yeah,
they don't play a lick of defense and they shoot mad threes.
Yep. So Philly 500 is thanking me for keeping him updated in the first half. So I guess from what I understand, his daughter had something like her teacher had an open house and he had to go to it unwillingly. He went. But I kept them updated with my Twitter. So
nice. You're a champ, Philly 500. I couldn't have done that.
This might have been one of those games you didn't want to watch.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't miss much. You would have been stroking out. You would have been throwing stuff at the wall for sure.
Yeah. Nerf guns would have been shot.
Nerf gun would have been broken.
Yeah.
Double moonwalk.
Double moonwalk. Triple moonwalk. Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much it. I got to recap the right, unfortunately, now. I got to recap this.
Oh, you gotta go over the pain again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the Boston fans are going to be ready to roast Philly and be like, ha, we're going to win, blah, blah, blah. You know the arrogance is going to come out.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta stay fast. It's all good, Philly. We're going to laugh in the end. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, all right, you got any final thoughts before we head out?
No, my final thoughts was just I would like the team to get to the free throw a lot more, take it up strong, be a little bit more physical like we were in the Miami series. You know how they were being physical with us? Let's bring it to Boston like we did in the first quarter and just keep it up for at least 3. And don't get so shot happy. There's nothing wrong with backdoor cuts and taking 2-pointers, man. Points are points. I'll take it any way we can get it.
Feed Joel Embiid the fucking ball. That's it. That's it. Feed him. Feed him. And then I want to see Ben Simmons more aggressive. I want some deep penetration from Ben Simmons. That's what I want.
Some oops. Can we get some alley-oops, please? Something.
Let's get it. Deep penetration, baby. Deep, 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 deep. That's it for this show. That's Kyle Gaffner. I'm Adrian Fedke. Deep penetration. Come on, Ben. Come on. Taisha will be at the game. Deep penetration.